Hi guys. There's something in the deer world called food plotting or quality deer management or just growing big antlers or trophy management. Now, what's involved with that is if you own your own land or you lease and you have the ability and just a little bit of equipment, you can make small food plots or large food plots. This is an average size food plot. It actually goes quite a ways on back past the camera. I'm going to give you a few tips and a quick overview here, and what we'll do is once I load this seeder up, I'm going to show you a pattern on how to seed effectively. And this is a overseed, so this has got really good clover in it, but it's also got some overburdened weeds in it. It's got some chicory, and it's got a little bit of alfalfa in it and some ryegrass. And this was just a couple weeks prior to turkey season, and I want these baby clovers coming up, and it's been really unseasonably warm, so this is a perfect time to do this. You're saying, well, what if, since it's middle of April, what if it frosts? Well, actually, this is kind of known as frost seeding because there's a chance of frost or freeze clear up into the first week of May. That's why you see a lot of farmers lay their seed in the ground right about now or in the next week or two, because it'll lie dormant until it's time to sprout. Now, it's supposed to cool right back off here in a few days and then come back up and then cool back off. And that's what I want, because when that happens, the moisture on everything wicks down and it pulls the seed, which is so small, it's about the head of a pin size, down into the ground. And it'll take off and start growing. So I'm going to show you real quick here how to load up this. This is the poor man's way of seeding. You don't need a tractor and stuff to seed. I have seeded everything from clovers and alfalfas to grasses. I've seeded millet with this. I've seeded beans with it, forage beans, and I've even did a broadcast of corn because I didn't care if it was in a row or not. This works. It's just a little bit of leg power and a little bit of arm power, and let's face it, some of you guys were like me when this all started. You know, your mouth opens up every time your elbow bends. You might need to get off the couch and do something, and this is a great way to get some exercise for a day. It also gets you out here and you start noticing things because you're on the foot and you're not just passing by. You're out here and about it. So let's get this loaded. It's wet, so my knees are going to be wet. Make sure that this lever is all the way forward and not caught back here, because if you load this seeder up with this caught back here, the seed's going to fall right out. It needs to be all the way forward, and all you got to do that, guys, is just push the button down. That clicks forward. Another thing is, this is preset for me. I like to run this on about a 1 setting or a 1.5 setting, and if I need a little more seed, all I do when I'm seeding is when I walk, my hand's right here and my thumb's right there ready to cut this off. But what I'll do is I'll pull back the lever a little bit, and it gives it a shot of seed. You know, if you're on a really, really bare spot, you can get a little extra seed out there. And if you need to stop, don't stop spinning this until you do that, because if you stop spinning, you're going to get a whole bunch down on there and it's going to hawk it everywhere. Okay, so we're going to close this up. It's closed. This is what the bottom looks like. And today, you know, like I've told you guys a million times, we here at Team Indiana Outdoors are not sponsored. Now today, this is an Antler King that's on the ground. This stuff right here was bought locally. If you go over here to Adler's, they sell clovers by the pound, and this has got Ladino, Alsike, white, and red clover, and a real good variety of forage alfalfa in it, and it's got a ryegrass variety in it that is hardy, but you can still knock it down with a spraying of Roundup if it gets out of control and replant. But I bought this at the local Real King for on sale for about 70% off last fall. And here's the deal: that seed is inert and it's coated, and it's going to grow this summer. Here's a tip. Every fall, go to your local stores, your Walmarts, your Dunhams, your Rural Kings, your Farm Fleet. Watch the on-sale stuff, especially seeds and minerals and tree stands, because they'll cut those prices as much as 70% of what they are in the middle of the summer or fall, and you can bring them, put them in your closet, and bring them out like I am right now and seed. Okay, let's load up. So all I'm going to do is tear this open, make sure it all goes in the bag. Now this is really cool. There it is. It's coated to help it grow. It's called an inoculant. So I'm going to just slowly pour this in here. That's what all that red dust is. Now, it's not the only bag I got. I actually have a second bag, and it had a little tear in it. So I have some in here too. So I'm going to rip this one open and dump my seeds down in here. Guys, everybody talks about this brand or that brand of clover, and here's the deal. There are different types of clover, and there's different strains of clover. There's all kinds of Roundup Ready crops. Now, I'm going to stick this bad boy over my shoulder, just like this. Now, don't leave your trash in the woods. I'm going to go put this away, and then I'm going to get out here and I'm going to seed up this area right here real quick. And this is just an overseed or a frost seed, because I know it's going to frost again. So hang on. Okay, I put my trash up back over here on my machine. I've got one of those high dollar machines. I've got a 250 Recon that's about 15 years old, 12 or 15 years old. If you take care of your stuff, you don't need to spend a lot of money, guys. And that Recon's had 2 boys, 3 deer, and myself, and all of our gear on it, and still made it. It's a 2-wheel drive. It's nice to have all the bells and whistles, but when all you need to really do is whistle, why do you need bells? Okay. You crank this way. Okay? This is how you do it. Now, you get to cranking before you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to where I'm seeing the seed just lay over toward the edge of this food plot. And you're saying, well, there's a lot of weeds out there. That's okay, because I'm going to come in and chop them weeds. And this clover's going to go ahead and take off. So, but it's right before turkey season, and I'm not going to mess with tearing up the food plot right now. So, here we go. Watch my pattern. There we go. I can see it hitting over here against the edge. And I can feel it hitting my body and my hands. I'm going to go ahead. See that? Now, we're going to go back off this way. I'm going to move over a few steps, and I'm going to hit where I didn't hit. It should only take about 3 circles here, because it's throwing this stuff out pretty wide, maybe 12 foot. Because if you watch, you can see it hit. And as you can see, I'm getting inside closer and closer each pass. I'll need one more pass, and this section will be done. And then I'll do another section. I suggest doing sections, because if you try to do too much at once, you tend to get offline and you'll miss spots. Now, this will be my final pass. I've actually covered everything on this little section of Foodplot. And I'm going to flip the button. It's off. So I'm going to move over here. I'm going to move right over here, and I'm going to do the same thing right over here. So here I go. I'm not going to get too far here because I want to really hit the spots I haven't been yet. And this is a much narrower strip, and it's right here in front of where I'm going to be shooting. Like I said, I'm getting a lot of overlap, and now I'm going to start another small box, and I'm going to box this off. And this area is really getting overburdened with weeds and things, and to be honest, I'm going to spot spray. Okay, guys, this is how it's done. And inoculate. It's dusty. Hope this tip helped you. Now, this will all be coming up here in about 2 or 3 weeks, and it'll be behind the clover that's already in here, and there's a bunch of it. And the deer will tear this up. And now, about a month and a half from now, I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to bring the bush hog down here, and I'm going to mow down the weeds and the grasses, because the clover will have come up so tall that it'll choke it out once I mow. You don't want to mow too close to the ground, maybe about 6 or 8 inches, and we'll talk about that when I get there. But there's something else I'm going to do at that time. I'm going to come down here, and as soon as turkey season's over, and I'm going to bring about 400 or 500 pounds of fertilizer and lime down here, and I do that every spring. And as soon as it starts taking up the fertilizer and neutralizes the pH here in the soil, this place will get overrun with deer. And that's what I want. I want this thing overrun with deer. And so I hope you've enjoyed these little helpful tips here. And I'm going to get out of here in just a few minutes. So I'll talk to you in a minute. Be right back. Well, if you're looking at this from a different angle now, you can see that this is actually tore up pretty good. That don't look very good, but it is. It's going to be better when he's done. It's exposing the roots, which is going to kill a lot of the weeds. And this will be plantable here in just the next working or two, and then they'll come in with the seeder, and they're going to lay down that cedar, and they're going to seed corn by row. And then when it gets about this tall, they're going to come down here and spray it with Roundup, because it's Roundup ready. And that'll take out all these weeds and all these grasses that are remaining. This isn't going to kill everything, but it's going to kill a lot. And it's really breaking up the soil, and that's the main goal here, break up the soil. Well, I told you we'd come back and take a look at where we're at right now. And what you're seeing right now is them laying down by row with row planter corn. Now this has had manure spread on it, reworked, and the weeds are dying from being taken down. This is Roundup ready corn and stuff, and I'm here with the same crew, Dave and Richard. Now what's going to happen here is he's just got a few more passes left. There's no need to show you the entire thing. But what we'll look at here in just a little bit, maybe another month or two, is the growth of this as he's pulling through. So, it's not even going to look like time-lapse stuff, and the straw and that manure makes it a little tough to plant, but that's okay. He's still getting it laid down. So, this is not a production field. This is not, I say again, not a production cornfield. If it was, this wouldn't be happening in this order. A food plot can have a rough plant and still produce just fine. Okay, so here's the next step. They're going to start dragging this, and they're using a piece of cattle panel, and what this is going to do is drag over some of the stuff that didn't get down in the ground for whatever reason. I think they're going to go pick up a log here and add some weight to it. I'm going to drag with pole. So that's Dave and Richard. Of course, this is a farming process. This isn't about fun and games, so be careful when you're doing this sort of thing.
Head hunt. Have a good day. Thanks for joining Hunt Outdoors this week. Remember, we hunt the way you do. We hunt outdoors. I'd like to thank Cody Hunt, Chris Hunt, my wife Kelly Hunt. Of course, you guys know who I am. I'm Ed Hunt. And let's not forget my other hunting friends out there, like Clint Van Adder, David Shepard, Josh Shepard, and of course Neil Fowler. I'd like to thank our sponsors, and I'd like to thank Hunt Outdoors for making it all possible. Remember, hunt outdoors. It's what we do.
Year after year, buck after buck, season after season, they keep falling for Hunt Outdoors game calls. That's right, Hunt Outdoors. Whether it's the buck smoker, the lonely doe, or the green-eyed doe, they'll all bring them running. That's Hunt Outdoors. Don't forget the name, and don't forget we're your game's worst nightmare. Hunt Outdoors. Pick us up at Wabash, at Bats and Bucks, or on the web at www.huntoutdoorsllc.com. That's huntoutdoorsllc.com. Check us out. Put more bucks on the ground with a 100% American-made game call. Hunt Outdoors. It's what we do.